Youmacon 2014 was my first year at Youmacon. Was it as good as people say, or did it fall short? Youmacon 2014 was held in the Renaissance Center and Cobo Center in downtown Detroit. Before we talk about the convention itself, let me just say, don't let the fact that this convention is held in Detroit keep you from going. You'll be fine. It's really not that bad. The Renaissance Center, or RenCen, is an absolutely beautiful place. It's over 70 floors high and is breathtaking to look at. The RenCen holds the Marriott, which is the main hotel for this convention. It also holds a lot of panel rooms, as well as the main events room, game rooms, and one of the food courts. The food court in the RenCen has a very nice selection, so you really almost don't even need to bring food. The RenCen also has a CVS in the building, so if you forget anything, you may be able to pick it up at the con itself. We'll talk more about the RenCen later, but let's talk about the Cobo for now. The Cobo is a convention center, which is about a 15-minute walk from the RenCen. But you don't have to walk. You can take the People Mover, which is basically a monorail that connects the RenCen straight to the Cobo. There will be tons of other congoers on there with you, so you don't need to worry about it being unsafe. It's 75 cents to get on, but Youmacon also has a booth set up to spend $5 and get a weekend pass to go back and forth as much as you want. One of the few problems with this con is the fact that the RenCen and the Cobo are kind of far apart, but it isn't anything that was too big of a deal and definitely won't ruin anyone's con experience. The Cobo held the second half of this convention. It's another huge building with more panel rooms, another food court, which isn't as great as the RenCen's food court, but still, it's food, as well as the dealer's room and artist alley, which are the main attraction of the Cobo. The dealer's room is without a doubt a very good dealer's room. I'm not gonna say I haven't seen better, but there's nothing to complain about here. There was a ton of stuff in there, and anyone should be able to find something that they like. At no point did I feel it was lacking in any way. If you've never been to Youmacon before, I would recommend coming a day early and using Thursday to try and learn the layout of everything, as this location is huge, and it did take us a while to figure out where things were. Also, the con does have things going on Thursday. It's a free day with a few panels and the game rooms open. It's not much, but it's still pretty cool. Speaking of the game rooms at this con were spectacular. They had an arcade room where all the arcade games were free to play. Their video game room was massive, with every type of game in there somewhere if you just look around. I don't do tabletop gaming personally, but when I walked in and looked around, it looked pretty big, and judging from how the rest of the con went, it was probably a pretty good tabletop gaming room. Something else that was open on Thursday and ran through the whole con was a room that basically just played AMVs the whole weekend. This was cool for when you just want to take a break from the con with some well-made AMVs. We went through registration on Friday, and I have to say it may have been the most painless registration I have ever been through in my life. Once the line started moving, even though we were pretty far back, we got through it in less than a half an hour. I've seen other cons take hours to get people that were that far back through. They clearly had a good system going on, and it worked perfect. Actually, it seemed to me that all the lines for this con went really fast. I've seen a lot of people complaining about all the lines at this con, but they actually went a lot faster than most cons I've been to. Another thing that had lines were the elevators in the RenCen, but it worked really well. It kept the elevators from ever becoming a huge free-for-all with people fighting to get in. I've witnessed elevators become a huge problem at many cons in the past, but not Youmacon. Well, other than coming down on Sunday to load cars and leave the con, but, you know, they did what they could. Something we noticed was that it felt like things started a bit late. Registration didn't open until 12 on Friday, and the dealer's room opened at 2. For a con this size, it just felt pretty late. Also, things like the cosplay contest started at 7 and ran till 10, and the raves at midnight. Not a huge deal at all, just felt a little late compared to other cons. One thing that was a little annoying was that there didn't seem to be descriptions for any of the panels anywhere. You just kinda had to go off the names of the panels to figure out what they were about. It would be really nice to see Youmacon include a section in their program book with panel descriptions next year. Youmacon has 2 raves, one on Friday and one on Saturday. Both of these raves were out of this world. The DJs were really good, the room was nice and big, and the lighting they had going really set the feel for the night. The last thing I want to mention is the staff. No one in my group, even once, had a problem with staff at all. I can't speak for everyone at the con, but for us, the staff seemed extremely nice and very helpful. No problems all weekend. The size of this convention is large. Location gets a 10 out of 10. This location is truly gorgeous. Being in the Rinsen for the first time is something that could take your breath away. The only problem was the Kobo being 15 minutes away. But the People Mover eliminates this problem. The dealer's room gets a 10 out of 10. The dealer's room is pretty large. You could easily get lost in there for hours. Organization gets a 10 out of 10. All in all, this con was very well organized. One of the most organized cons I've ever been to. The game rooms get a 10 out of 10. The game rooms were huge, with something in there for everyone. Panels get a 9 out of 10. A couple of panels started a bit late, and there weren't panel descriptions anywhere. But none of this was a big deal. For the most part, all of the panels were really good. Guests get a 10 out of 10. The list of voice actors they brought in, as well as musical guests and other guests, was phenomenal. Surely there was someone there for everyone. The staff gets a 10 out of 10. Like I said, we had no problems with staff at all. They seemed to be really chill and really nice people. The raves get a 10 out of 10. The raves were some of the best raves I've been to. If you're into con raves, check Yuma's out. Youmacon 2014 was a really good con. I wish I had more constructive criticism to give, but I just don't. For my group and I, everything went perfect the entire weekend. I'm sure some people had problems come up, but I can't imagine it being anything that would ruin the entire weekend. Youmacon is definitely a con I would recommend to everyone. At the end of the day, I give Youmacon 2014 a 9.7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, you can click on the video on the screen to jump over to my vlog channel, where I vlog my day-to-day life for your entertainment. If that's not enough for you, go to the description below to find links to my Twitch, where I stream video games almost daily, my Facebook, Instagram, email, Twitter, Tumblr, and the Convention Reviews website.